Okay. You guys ready for a Q&A? Yeah? All right. You weren't going to leave that easily.
Yeah.
All right. So your debut album came out Friday. How have you been feeling? You touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
You wake up Friday. How are you feeling?
This is so rude.
It's okay. You're very important.
Siri went off on... Siri just said, I can't help you.
You have to answer that on your own.
That's what I need. One more person in my life saying that.
I can't reach the drums, otherwise I would try to help you there.
That was a joke. Haha. What was the question?
Did you hate it that much? How'd you feel on Friday?
I felt a wave of relief and emotion all at once. Actually, let's open up. My manager called me from London, and he said, congratulations, and I hung up and I started crying, like, immediately.
Yeah.
So that was great. Alone in my car.
There you go.
It was raining.
That's perfect.
It was, yeah, scene out of a movie, really, or like a WB TV show or something.
Was your album playing on the stereo?
No. I felt really good. It was cool to, like I said, I was sitting on these songs for so long, and to take most of 2018 off to record pretty much everything over from the ground up, and carve away at these 13 songs. It's really cool that people are here to listen and that they're listening online, and I'm glad it's out now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I loved your honesty. On Twitter, you said that the album took a lot out of you.
Yeah.
For a lot of us who aren't as familiar with the process, just day in and day out, what was that like? What did it take out of you over the past several years, especially last year?
Well, I think the last year, the most intensive part was obviously being in the studio and just trying to perfect everything, and then like settling for the best I could do. I remember when the mixes came back and I sent them to the producer, and we were both super excited about how good everything sounded. And I think the goal there is to feel like it's the best thing you've done so far, and I feel like it's the best thing I've done so far. Yeah, so it was just a lot of energy in the recording process. What I really meant when I was like talking about that online was it's a sad album. And there's a lot that I was going through for the past 5 or 6 years, and even before that, because like I wrote a song before I could drive, just a lot of like emotional energy just thrown at this thing, and hoping that it would resonate with people. So that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it connects the way that it does, because you really put everything into it.
Yeah, just trying to be honest all the time.
So I'm curious about the title, Hoax. How, if at all, did deception sort of inspire that or play a role in its creation in any way?
So, like I said, I was sitting on the album, the title Hoax, for a while. And something that I've been trying to do in my songwriting since I've been putting music out is to touch less on like a very specific experience and more on like the perception of feelings, or the perception of what you go through during an experience, because I think feelings are more universal than as like the most personal stories. And I know that both have like their space, but this is what I was trying to focus on, to sort of step back from what I was going through and just think more about it. And I think that makes stuff more universal if you just focus on how you're feeling. Because everybody gets sad.
We all feel.
Yeah. And Hoax was... I just had this idea where, you think way too hard about everything, and I kind of wanted to write songs from the perspective of if I was... looking in the mirror and sort of saying, how do we get here? And so a fun question that people sometimes ask on Twitter and Instagram is, who hurt you? And
super fun.
yeah. And so the songs can, from me personally, mean, or from, I guess, your perspective listening to them, that, it's multiple people in a situation, but more often than not, I'm singing to myself. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the trick of it all, is that I hurt me.
Yeah.
And then on a lighter note, hoax, I was writing out the word, and I messed up the X, so it looked like there was a heart in the X, and then that clicked with me in my head, hell of a heartbreak, and so that's that.
That's actually really awesome.
Cool.
I didn't know that. So it's no secret you're a pretty collaborative artist. We all know and love that you worked with Beyonce and James Blake on a track off Lemonade, mm-hmm. Justine Skye, Rudimental, just to name a few.
Yeah.
What do you love about that process of just getting in a room and writing with other people?
When I can be with the artist,
mm-hmm.
It's awesome, because I like following their lead.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be in sessions for other artists when they're not there, and it's hard to sort of channel what might relate to them the most, because what's on my mind could be the complete opposite of what somebody wants to sing about. So right. It's always nice when the artist is with you in the space, and you can kind of, I like to think of myself as more of a proofreader, mm-hmm. And sort of following their lead.
That's a nice way to put it. Is there anyone on your dream collaboration wish list that you haven't had a chance to work with yet?
Anderson .Paak would be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
He's a wizard.
Someone said please.
Please. I mean, a lot of people that are like, I would call, my contemporaries. I think Frank Ocean would be a dream come true.
Ooh, yes, that would be.
Bunch of hip hop artists. Vince Staples is awesome. Earth Gang. I don't know if you guys listen to Earth Gang, but Earth Gang's dope.
That's
a whole bunch of people.
Right there,
yeah. There's a lot. Big Thief is one of my favorite bands on the planet, and it'd be amazing to write with them. They're my favorite writers. Nick Hakim, Emily King. Pretty much anybody that I met when I was playing Rockwood Music Hall years ago by myself.
Wow.
Chris Morrissey. It's a long list.
I see Nick Hakim around a lot.
He's amazing.
Yeah. So also going back to Twitter, I saw that Alessia tweeted, so she heard the demos a while ago, clearly, and she knew from that moment how special that this album was going to be. What's it like to have close friends who have gone through the exact same thing that you're going through in this industry, just to sort of be there as you go through this process yourself? To be able to talk to other artists, especially artists that are much further along and like mm-hmm. signed and everything, and sort of share experiences like that. And also, I think everybody likes to be approved by their peers, and so that's always a very fulfilling feeling to have so many great people say nice things about the record. And James Bay was texting me the other day about it, and that's awesome.
Actually, my best friend James Vincent McMorrow just texted me right before I went on, and he said it's been on in his house all weekend. So, mission accomplished. Me too, if it means anything. Oh, sick! Thank you very much. Yeah. No, anybody that says anything's awesome, and it's really nice to hear that. But when people you look up to and people you admire that are creating and doing crazy things in the industry, and they have the time even to listen. Mm-hmm. Like even somebody like when I met Beyonce for the first time, she's stratospheric, obviously, and she's still a music fan, which is awesome. Like she's got her head to the curb, listening to new stuff, and I think I just quoted "Pray You Catch Me." I'm sorry. Well done. Yeah, right. I wrote that. That was great. So you sort of said that seeing these artists do crazy things is a cool thing for you, but you've already done some pretty crazy things. You've been nominated for a Grammy, opened for Mumford & Sons, sold out your first headlining tour.
What else is on your work-related bucket list that you're hoping to get to in the near future?
I'd like to sell out my second headline tour.
You guys.
If you want to help. More music. I got a lot left to say. I'm wiped right now. Like I wasn't lying on social media, but there are a lot of songs that a lot of new ideas and a lot of things that I'm constantly trying to refresh and work on, and I really got to connect with a lot of amazing musicians making this album on top of the people that I've already been lucky enough to work with on my music. So it's cool to have people excited to get right back to work on things.
Yeah, definitely. This room is obviously filled with some of your biggest fans, which is pretty awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Do you yourself have a fan moment where you either met someone and you flipped out or saw a show that really stuck with you?
Yeah. The very first time I have a couple stories.
Mm-hmm.
The very first time I saw Emily King play at Rockwood Music Hall was like an out-of-body experience, and I got to sit in the balcony at stage 2, so I had a great view of the whole band, and they're some of the best musicians in the city. And then I had met her once before, but not like in a music setting, so it was kind of like, oh, hey, yeah, hey. And then fast forward to, a couple years later, and she's sending me texts saying that love the songs and everything, and I didn't know what to say. I had no clue.
Did you respond eventually?
I responded, yeah, after like a few hours because I was so nervous. And I was like, you know how you can unsend messages on Instagram too? That's a recent feature. I wish that existed back then.
I wish I had that in texting.
Because it was like, I was like, God, thanks. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're great. Yeah. That's a common trend for me, because the first time I met Beyonce, I did kind of the same thing. She said I was really good, and I said she was too.
I mean, that's true, though.
Yeah, no, it is. But you're right.
It probably humbled her. That's a good thing to say. All right, so you mentioned your tour. Kicks off, I think, almost exactly a month from today.
First date's April 30th in Philly. Yeah.
What are you most anxious and or excited about?
Well, Zach, who you met tonight, he's not there anymore,
yes.
So I'm just pointing at his station. He's coming on the road with me, and another guy who couldn't be here tonight, his name's Elliot Skinner, who was in a group they were both in a group called Third Story. And Elliot that's going to be the new band. Jesse, unfortunately, is going to tour Europe with his other band, which is really great, called Alto Palo. You should check them out. And yeah, so it's a new band. We have lights now, which is fun.
That's awesome.
At least we're talking about it. I'm talking to the guy, and he says it's going to be good. But I'm most anxious to see if people come and just play the new songs.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is I used to play some of these songs live before I had anything out, because everything from the EPs to this album was all from the same pool, with the exception of a few songs that are more recent. And people would come up to me after like a James McMorrow show, like months later when I would come back to the city, and put their phone up to my ear and play a song like Title Track, which is on the record, or Don't Bother Me at All, or even some songs that still aren't out yet. And I remember when that would happen, I'd be like, well, keep this to yourself, because I'm not going to play it tonight, and that's just for you. So now it's time to finally play those again.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting for all of us and for you.
Yeah, no, I'm so that's why we do this, to play for everyone. So I'm really excited to get back out there.
Awesome. Well, so we're going to move into a few fan questions now.
Okay.
So Victoria is asking, Victoria, if you're here, if you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Sorry, you couldn't make it, Victoria. Oh, hi, Victoria.
Hey, Victoria.
Hi, dead or alive? Dead, Sam Cooke.
Nice.
Alive, think of somebody that I didn't name before. John Mayer followed me on Instagram the other day.
What?
So that would be cool. Speak it into existence. Yeah, any of those people I listed before too, yeah.
All right, and so Jenny is asking, where do you get your songwriting inspiration from?
Is Jenny here?
Jenny?
Okay, Jenny, sorry you couldn't make it.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I pull it from personal experience. I think that's a pretty consistent thing with most songwriters. Been through a lot over the past 28 years. I guess you can kind of cut that in half because I didn't start having feelings until I was 14 or 15. But
Late bloomer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I cried when I was younger.
Sure.
But because I couldn't have like Skittles or something, I couldn't have candy.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
I get it.
Here's a fun, so Jenny, I'll get back to your question in a second. But when I was younger, we had a babysitter named Terry. I hated her. And I will forever remember there was one like cordial chocolate covered cherry left in the box of candy. Every other piece of candy sucked in this box. Like the, sorry if you guys like the maple creams or whatever those things,
Nope.
like they're terrible. It's stupid. Chocolate covered cherries were everything to me. And this was like last week. No. And she was like bedtime, and I was like, can I have the chocolate covered cherry? And she put the box in front of me like she was gonna give me the piece of candy, and I reached for it, and this bitch grabs, sorry.
Terry, are you here?
Fix it in post. Yeah. This woman, Terry definitely didn't make it tonight.
So we're good.
This woman, sorry, takes the chocolate-covered cherry out of the box, shoves it in her mouth, and chews it multiple times in front of me. First of all, don't chew it like that. It's not a chocolate-covered cherry.
Right.
You have to indulge. You have to enjoy it. I cried, as per usual. For keeping score, that's what I do a lot. And I went to bed, not hungry, but just upset.
Just sad, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like that was going to fill me up or anything. So.
Right.
Anyway, Jenny, the question about
What was Jenny's question?
influence on songwriting.
Yes. I mean, that answers it. Now you have an album.
Yeah. I wrote Hoax about Terry.
That is who hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we know.
Now I know. We just talked about it. Thank you for that.
I think you'll like this next question even more.
Oh, good.
Corinne wants to know, what is your favorite condiment?
Oh, easy. Spicy honey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
No brainer. Can't even.
Okay.
There's not even a second place. Yeah. It's just.
Made that easy.
I was introduced to spicy honey in Brooklyn. It's called Mike's Hot Honey at Pauly G's.
Nice.
I got the Hellboy. Right. Maybe we should have gotten Pauly G's next time. And it was amazing. I didn't even know it existed. And now in my kitchen, in the cabinet, there's probably 20 varieties of chili infused honey. Just to have. How long does it take you to get through a bottle of honey? Like tea drinkers, step aside for a second. Let's talk about like regular honey consumers. I've had honey. I've had these bottles of honey for months. Some of them aren't even opened yet, so I don't know what I was thinking. But
Lifetime supply.
favorite condiment, spicy honey, Corinne.
Okay. Jean is asking, if you didn't become a singer, what do you think that you would have pursued? Babysitting?
Yeah.
Could have been a lot better.
I would be such a good babysitter from my childhood experiences, namely that stupid cherry one. I don't think there was a week in high school where I got a good grade on an anatomy test, which is the memory game. We all know that. You just remember names of bones and muscles. And I thought, let's be a doctor. I went home, played guitar, and I was like, that's done. It was like a week later. And I kind of always knew from middle school that I was going to go to music school and give it a shot. There was a point, I guess, where I guess teaching would be fun, like teaching music. Got a lot of respect for music teachers because I've driven a lot of them crazy over the years. But James McMorrow hit me up right before the deadline to submit applications happened. So I went on tour instead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very lucky.
Changed the course of your life.
Yeah, thanks, James. He's in Ireland, so he's not here.
Aw. Next time.
It's okay.
And then our final fan question from Bruna is, what's your favorite place to write songs?
I love Pittsburgh. My parents' house is in the woods, and that's where I had a studio set up where I do almost everything up until this album, where we spent a lot more time in a few studios. But the Melodrama EP and Precious and False Hope, all that stuff is largely built out of that room. I feel like being in the woods at home is calm and very inspiring, and then having lived in Brooklyn, and every time I come back to Brooklyn, that's kind of where you get the hustle.
Yeah.
So it's a nice combination. But I wrote some songs in Brooklyn. I wrote Pushing Away in Brooklyn. I wrote here or Pittsburgh, I guess. Home is nice.
Yeah, I bet. Feel comfortable.
Yeah. These places were both home, New York and Pittsburgh at one point, so.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for the Q&A. All right.
All right. One more time. Kevin Garrett.